Yo, this is Santi Umami here.
And I'm Aladar.
You're Aladar? Who are you really?
I'm Dyslexic Ape.
And this is Jetnami.
You should keep that in, by the way.
I'm keeping it in, Aladar. I've never even seen dinosaurs. This boy's out here talking about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I've never
That was
seen
a good.
it.
It was a fit. You actually haven't seen that
I've
movie.
never seen dinosaurs.
Oh my god, it's so bad, but like it's really good because basically like it's a dinosaur egg that got lost and it went to an island that's kind of more or less like Madagascar because the only things that live there are like these weird like lemur people. um. And then that island like gets hit with a meteor or something. I don't know. And then they all leave.
Like, is that how like King Julian was born?
Pretty much, King Julian's like this is like the ultimate like pretext to the Madagascar trilogy is the movie Dinosaurs.
It's actually a prequel, just in long term.
God.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Uh,
Okay, so yeah, guys, it's been a while since we've done a podcast.
Absolutely.
It's been a fat minute, but the holidays came through and whatnot, and we got busy, I guess.
Life has been busy recently, but don't
Yeah.
you worry. We're in the labs cooking now.
Yeah, we're making meth.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo!
Science.
Science. All right, Mr. White. Yeah, but today we're gonna be talking about a couple movies because Dyslexic Ape and I have been talking. Like we've been saying like the past few Pixar and Disney movies have actually been really good. We've been pleased.
Yeah. I feel like the sort of the end of the 2010s was kind of like a poor showing.
Mm-hmm.
From Disney, Pixar, from a lot of studios really, but we've sort of hit like a point I think in the industry where it's kind of like, I mean, the movies we're planning to talk about here are Encanto and Luca, and I think those are both, if you want to think about it, like the canary in the coal mine. Those are both good signs as like they're showing promise in the in what's coming out.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, the movies. There were some rough ones in the 2010s. You had, I think, Cars 2 was 2010s. You had Cars 2. You had the Planes movies, and those all sucked. You had. Oh, that one. What was it called? The Good Dinosaur, which sucked. You had even as of recently, like that weird road trip movie with the with like the magic people. The two blue dudes. I didn't even watch that one. It looked so bad.
No, I didn't either. That's not Onward, is it?
Onward, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Just didn't even look good. It's just been a rough spot. I heard Incredibles 2 wasn't that great, so I haven't actually watched it yet, but I heard that people had mixed thoughts about it.
Yeah, they took a lot of... what was it? It was like 14 years between that and the first movie, and the product we got was not that good. Because the first movie literally sets up for them to have this whole thing with like the Underminer.
Yeah.
And then the Underminer's there for like a femtosecond in the beginning, and they're like, "Wow, guys, wasn't it cool how we beat the shit out of the Underminer?" And it's like we didn't even get to see it. So
well, if you had played the video game, The Rise of Underminer, for the GameCube, it was called like The Rise of Underminer. It was something like that.
So they really said, "Been there, done that." We made a GameCube game.
Yeah, if you didn't play it, you don't deserve to know what happened. You fake fan.
It's like the Lion King 1.5.
Yes, and we know now that the reason why all the animals bowed down during the Circle of Life was because Timon and Pumbaa farted. Did you not know?
Yeah, of course. I got that movie for like Valentine's Day when I was like 6.
For Valentine's Day, who didn't find you sexually attractive?
Hey, so
Like what?
I don't
Why for
remember.
Valentine's Day?
I don't know. That's just the day I remember getting the movie, and I don't know who gave it to me. But I got it on Valentine's Day, and I watched it. And from now on, every Valentine's Day, which is ironically coming up, I associate that with the Lion King 1.5.
Ah, yes, that's good. Is this why you suffer from erectile dysfunction?
I do believe it is. Yeah.
You just can't stop thinking about Timon and Pumbaa.
I can't. I'm cursed with knowledge.
Oh dang, dude. Oh gosh, that's a scary thought. You find it's weird in America how every single one of our holidays is just like corporatism on steroids. Like this is Valentine's Day, simplest thing ever. You have like an early Christian saint literally just marrying people, and we're like, oh, yep, I need Lion King 1.5 for someone. Like it would be different if it was like The Notebook or some sort of romantic movie of some sort. But no, Lion King 1.5.
Little did Saint Valentine know what he was putting into motion to affect my life in the future.
Literally, he was like, you know what? I wasn't gonna marry these people and get martyred for the faith unless I knew that Lion King 1.5 was involved.
It's a butterfly effect that led to my demise.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh god! All right, let's hop into. We've been dancing around the topic.
Yeah. Which one are we gonna talk about first? Maybe we should do Luca first.
Yeah, Luca came out
first.
So we'll talk about that first.
All right.
Where do you want to start with it? Because like, there's a lot.
Well, I think we need to start it off by saying Silenzio Bruno.
Silenzio Bruno.
Silenzio Bruno. Okay, I gotta say, I watched this plane. Pardon me. I watched this film on a plane, and the audio was in French. The subtitles I wanted in French, but they didn't have, so I did it in English. And then they were saying words in Italian. So I was really confused the entire time I was watching this movie. But with that said, I enjoyed it very much. But I guess my general thoughts on Luca is I think it's just a cute story. It's a coming-to-age tale. And I feel like, as we were talking about with like the 2000s, I felt like that was a huge trend in the 2000s, and then the slow heat death of the coming to age genre was Chicken Little.
Yeah,
I think Dyslexic Ape and I came to that agreement that there's a slow death, and then Chicken Little just like cripples it.
Yeah.
But I think that
coming of age story after Chicken Little was a blight to society.
Yes, because Chicken Little was just that amazing. They realized nothing can beat this. This is as good as it gets.
Peak cinema.
Peak cinema. Yes. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, we keep getting sidetracked by stupid. Okay. So I felt like it was a really good coming to age story. I like the fact that it's literally a fish out of water story. I think that was fascinating. It's cool to see Italian culture in this film. Like, what I like about both Luca and Encanto is that they're clearly from cultures. Like, Luca is clearly Italian, Encanto is clearly Colombian, but it's not. It doesn't assault you with the fact it's like, oh yeah, this film's Italian. Hey, hey. You know. Like it was a good amount. Like they had Vespas, they had some Italian music, they used some Italian words, but it felt like that didn't define the story. It felt like that was just an element of the film.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfectly said because like there's a lot of times like in the past, a lot of times when they do like a movie that doesn't take place in America, they're like, look at this little guy. Look at him over here. He's speaking like, hey, oh, hey. That's how you know you're in Italy. It's like, no, Luca did a very good job at being like, look, this is like the Italian Riviera. Like this is like the coastline. Like this is what it's like. This is what the people are like, and it didn't really hit you over the head. Other than that, like this is just what it was like there. And same thing with Encanto. It's like, look, this is like this is. You said is Encanto in Colombia? Is that where it takes
Colombia.
place?
It's Colombian.
Interesting. So yeah, it's like, look, this is Colombia. These people are Colombian. This is what they're like. It's just kind of. It wasn't like over the top with any of that. Like
No, definitely, it was a good mix. I like how wholesome it is. Like both these films, I feel like the main conflict is more issues with like familial generational differences and attempting to overcome that, as opposed to, again, I'm going to go back to the 2000s. I feel like it's like, oh, we gotta have a bad guy. We gotta get a bad guy in here, you know. Like
we gotta beat the dude. We gotta beat the guy and get the MacGuffin.
Exactly. Beat the guy, get the MacGuffin. That's like every 2000s animated film.
It really was.
Treasure Planet, beat the guy, get the MacGuffin. In Tarzan, beat the guy, but there is no MacGuffin in that one, I guess.
The MacGuffin was the friends you made along the way.
Kind of. Gosh. Yeah, you have Rosie O'Donnell as a gorilla. I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm not gonna make any comment. The jokes write themselves. I don't need to do anything. No. There's lots of other early films in the early 2000s as well that I don't remember at all. But you got Chicken Little, which is centered around a MacGuffin, but no guy to beat. So it is like the completion of Tarzan on that front.
Yeah.
You had Atlantis, The Lost Empire, which had bad guys and MacGuffins.
Man, this is such a good movie.
It is, though. It really is. And I think what holds it up are the characters. I feel like they keep the film going.
Yeah, those. This is kind of going slightly off topic, but it's a podcast, so who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah. But in like speaking of Atlantis, when Disney, I don't think they're still doing it, or at least not that I have been aware of. Their whole like live action thing that they were doing for a while with the remakes of their movies.
Oh, gosh.
The only two movies that I think genuinely, truly need a live action, just so that they get some more like eyes on the property that like, because Disney clearly doesn't care about them that much anymore, would be Treasure Planet or Atlantis. Those
Agreed.
would both do great with live action.
They would work. They would work really well. I just couldn't stop thinking as you were gearing up to say that, like Chicken Little.
Chicken Little.
The live action.
We all know that Disney is holding themselves back. And once they decide to finally take off their Dragon Ball Z training weights, they will release the Chicken Little live action movie.
Oh gosh. It's a horrible idea. I don't want to think about that.
It's gonna be like anthropomorphized. God. I can't even. I'm having a stroke trying to like imagine that.
I'm trying to think of like who the cast would be, and I think as I'm doing it, I'm slowly going insane.
Jonah Hill is the pig.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Who's gonna be the ugly duckling?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Hey guys, did you know that Chicken Little smokes weed?
Dude, he plays the same dude, and he just plays himself in every movie.
Yes. Seth
like
Rogen
the Lion
is just
King.
himself.
Dude, he was literally just. It was actually hilarious. Him as Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, I'm a warthog.
I'm the warthog. I made everyone bow. The Seth Rogen laugh is so easy to do. It just. It's
I'm not so good at it. Okay, so back to Luca.
Back to Luca. Back to Encanto.
Back to Luca. Back to Encanto.
So whoever works at Disney right now, somebody at Disney really does not like someone named Bruno. It's
Yeah.
just what I have to say. They they, they want him to be quiet and they don't want to talk about him.
Yeah. Well, Bruno is a name where it could be Spanish or Italian, so it
It could be.
works.
It's a general like romance language name.
Yeah. I don't think there's a French equivalent. Now that I'm thinking of it.
No?
No. Maybe Pliant? I'm trying to think.
I
But
don't
French
know.
is like the German redheaded stepchild of the Italian languages. Pardon me, of the Romance languages.
Yeah, I do feel like linguistically, French is kind of like on the outer ring of like the Latin-based languages.
Yeah,
It takes the most liberties with it.
it does. I mean, they have the most dramatic influence, I think, too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, apparently Bruno is like sometimes a name in French, but it's like mostly Southern French, which would I guess would make sense.
sense.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, so Luca, I just I gotta say the animation is getting to like peak quality. I feel like there's very little they could add to make it much better. I think we're starting to hit that point where
Yeah,
visually the films are kind of peaking. Now maybe I could be wrong, you know? Maybe there
yeah,
could be additions they could make. But I feel like, especially, I look back at the original Incredibles, and the original Incredibles looked great for a really long time, but now it's kind of starting to show its age. Those old
yeah.
Pixar movies, just a hair, just a hair, but you can start to see it.
Definitely. Yeah, and I see what you're getting at too. Like, I think that like with a movie like Luca or a movie like Encanto, because they both, I like the they both are visually very good.
Hmm.
I more favor Luca in its I guess in its like color palette it uses in the movie.
No way, man.
Um
No way.
but
Encanto.
but
Para mí,
uh
Encanto.
but no, I do think that like when it comes to movies like Luca and Encanto, um they're not like it's gonna take significantly longer for movies like that to show their age. I think that they're gonna have a very long shelf life in terms of like you're gonna look at this and be like, wow, this looks really good.
Yeah. I gotta say, now that I'm thinking about that, the one major plus in 2D animation, outside of that fact, I think you can have a more diverse art style with 2D. I feel like there's more diversity. Is the fact that the films never look old. They kind of do because you can tell by how they photograph cells that there's definitely some sort of
Definitely.
lower qualityness or
But it
a
adds
certain
when they look old, it adds character in a 2D animated movie versus when a
yeah.
3D animated movie looks old.
Oh gosh,
Like if you want to go back to Aladar, you want to talk about dinosaurs. That movie looks like a flaming pile of dog dookie.
it
But
looks hard. It looks like a PS2 cutscene
it pretty much is a like an hour and a half PS2 cutscene. Like,
for a game nobody wanted to play. Yeah, no, this is true. This is true. Yeah.
Aladar is they name drop Aladar in Sonic Underground.
Do they?
They don't actually.
Sonic Underground like the show?
Yeah. I was gonna see if you would bite on that.
Well, because I wasn't sure whether there's like a new game. Because I'm like, bro, no one's ever talked to me about Sonic Underground my entire life. You know how long I've been waiting for this moment to sing the Sonic Underground theme song awkwardly on a podcast? No. Oh gosh.
Gosh.
But that show, I gotta say, like, it is like if Phineas and Ferb met the Sonic Sat AM show. Like every single episode, like, no, we need a song. Except Phineas and Ferb had good songs, and this is just all around just garbage. Just nothing good. No redeeming quality. Stupid
Yeah.
story, stupid characters, stupid plot, stupid everything. It's dumb. Sonic Underground is trash. Sonic Sat AM for life, baby.
Yeah. What was that? Sonic X?
No, Sonic Sat AM. It doesn't. It's just called Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what the show was called. But the fan base has dubbed it Sonic Sat AM because it aired in the morning on Saturdays.
Yeah, was that that was the one that was on?
4Kids.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
thought
a different show. You pleb.
it's not.
No, Sonic
Oh,
Sat AM was from like the 90s.
oh yeah. Well, I didn't see that.
Okay.
I wasn't alive in the 90s.
Me neither. Actually, I was. I was
You
a
were like
couple
a
months.
you were like a Festus though. You.
Yeah, Festus. Is that before a fetus?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna dig up some ancient Roman like manuscript on like how to like the stages of birth, and it's like
It's
yes,
like
you go
first
from zygote to Festus to fetus.
when you are a Festus, you are at your godliest.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Everybody knows that Festus comes before cleanliness, comes before godliness.
Interesting hierarchy there.
That's the order.
Yes. Interesting. I wonder what John Wesley would have to think on that.
I don't know. Ask the Pope.
Ask the Pope.
Ask the Pope. This is
Frankie?
Pope Francis. Pope Francis was about Festus. Oh, he said,
Son,
Pope,
son. I don't know why I turned him into the Brothers Jewel.
come closer to me.
Come closer to me. I have to tell you. I have to tell you about the Fourth Crusade.
You know, that's actually a good segue into something else we wanted to talk about.
Oh gosh, Smiley Friends?
Yeah.
Bro,
Smiling.
I want to talk about Smiling Friends, but I feel like I have more to say about Encanto. But we haven't said it because we've been we've been digging around for like
Yeah, I know.
30 minutes.
That's fine. It's a podcast. This is our first episode in like a minute. It's okay.
It is. It is. No, this is good. This is good. I like this. Okay. Encanto. I cried a lot during that movie.
Surface pressure.
Yeah. My whole beef with the song Surface Pressure is that it has a great chorus, but absolutely horrible. Like the verses are horrible. Like
Yeah.
the rhymes are so forced. The voice actor is great, but she clearly can't sing. And then like when you, yeah, I'm being real. Or maybe she
That's
just can't
fair.
sing in that voice. Maybe she can actually sing. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like when you get to the actual chorus, it's like it instantly flips and it's like a different track. I don't know. But yeah, We Don't Talk About Bruno is a great track. I love that track so much. It's great.
It's a amazing song. Yeah. Not even gonna lie, yesterday when I was at work, I just was stuck in my head for probably like the final 2 hours of my shift, and I was just like singing that song to myself.
Yeah. No, it's same for me. Just all day I've been sitting around and just thinking about Bruno. But yes, speaking of that, there's another couple things I want to talk about. My favorite aspect of the film, I think, is this focus on familial strife.
Yeah.
I think it's a really powerful message, the idea that when you come from a family of immigrants, there's this kind of pressure on you to succeed and how that can affect different people in the family in different ways over multiple generations. I think another big theme is this idea of prophecy, too, and how prophecies can almost become self-fulfilling because we expect them to be true, we make them a reality, which is really what I think the song We Don't Talk About Bruno is about. Because if you think about it, all of the prophecies that Bruno talks about in the course of that song are things that are only true because people let them be true. You know? Like the priest talked about how, Bruno said he would go bald, and then the next day, or like over time he ended up becoming bald. Well, what causes you to go bald? Partially. Stress, Stress can agitate male pattern baldness. And I think that that was clearly the intent with that. And I also think that's the intent with other things in the story as well. Like when the guy was talking about how he said his fish would die and the next day he was dead. Maybe he was, trying to be overly precautious. Maybe he, tried cleaning the fish's water and that's what killed it.
That's what I really like about the song, because like when you really so your first listen through of that song, like when you're watching the movie or just like listening to it isolated because I listened to the song before I saw the movie because obviously the song is everywhere.
Yes.
So I listened to the full song. I was like, okay, this makes me want to watch the movie. I then watched the movie. When it gets to that part and you don't really know who Bruno is yet, outside of like, oh, he's
The
like,
mysterious guy.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like the family outcast. Like
Yeah.
he's a part of the family, but like nobody has seen him in a while, and he's regarded as a negative. Um, they definitely give you that vibe, but once you learn like how Bruno's power actually works and how he actually is as a person, you find out that he really was just trying to make like conversation and he wasn't even using his power probably for some of those. He was probably just making observations and people figured, "Oh, he's predicting something."
Yes, and he mentions that in the final song in the movie.
Yeah.
That he just wanted to, like, perfect example with the first one with what's her name? The girl whose name begins with a P. Like the only person who's like whitish in the film.
Oh. Yeah. Uh, it's Bruno's sister.
Yeah. But
I can't remember her name.
yeah, like when he mentioned the fact that it was going to start raining at her wedding, he even says in the film, like, I was just telling you, like, you should look up, you should be happy, you know, like, don't be worried about anything. But because her emotions control the weather, that's ultimately why it ended up raining, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because you tell someone, oh yeah, think positive. Well, what are the reasons why I shouldn't think positive? And then you start having negative thoughts.
Yeah.
I think that and that's a clear part of the story. I think that there is a lot dealing with the concept of prophecy throughout the film, because we see that the main girl, what's her name? Madrigal, I think. That Madrigal, I don't know.
It's like the last name.
Oh, it is their last name. The main female character. The fact that she doesn't have a power at first, I think, is very fascinating. Because, how do I say this? In a way, and this is what I thought when I first watched the film. Like, when I first watched the first 30 minutes, I pretty much knew how the entire course of the film was going to go. Now, it was still really good. I predicted virtually everything correctly. But I could tell that her power was going to be tied in the fact that she was going to be the force to reunite the family. And I think that's a really powerful narrative, is this idea of a complete role reversal. Because she went from the film to being so insignificant and having no power to being her power is the very reason why anyone else has powers. You know, it's almost contingent on her keeping the family together whole and cohesive, you know? I think it ties into the idea of, you know, the stone that the builders rejected has now become the chief cornerstone. You know, she is like that in a way. She is that kind of story element.
Yeah.
She's like the fulfillment of this, but just very, very powerful, you know. And the idea of learning to accept oneself, I think, is a very powerful message. I feel like films do it in the wrong sort of way, where it's like, oh yeah, if you're horrible, just accept yourself, you know. Like, but the film kind of focuses on there is a room for improvement while being accepting it where you are at currently, which I think is a very, very healthy way of expressing that idea without going too far.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's definitely like the way that the movie kind of deals with a lot of its themes, I feel like is just very good because it isn't heavy-handed like you kind of were getting at. Like it isn't like, oh, like this is how it is. It's like this, like you know, like, oh, you're different. It's fine. It's like, no, you're different and that's okay, but like you can also strive to like be more. You can be more. Just be more, be yourself, but be your best self, kind of. Like you don't have to like fit into the box that you're being like painted into, kind of.
Absolutely. I also had the idea that maybe their powers were not actually true, but more like the fact that their personality traits have become so exaggerated they're almost viewed as powers. You know what I mean? Have you noticed that the personality trait is really an embodiment of, I guess you could say, the key differentiating aspect of each character. You know,
Yeah.
like the sister who's really strong. You know, she says in the song like, "Yeah, I thought I had to be stronger because I'm the oldest." You know, that's something that the oldest sibling often feels.
Yeah.
The one who is, you know, conventionally attractive, I guess you could say, she is, you know, embodied through flowers because it's a symbol of beauty, so on and so forth. You know,
Yeah.
I think that in a way the film could be viewed as just one big allegory for, you know, how families interact, familial strife, um, personal psychology, how we view self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah. Well, the one that interests me too, um, is actually okay. There's two I want to get into, but the first one, um, oh God, what is his name? The youngest cousin, the one who formerly lived in the nursery with I think is her name Maribel?
Maribel,
Maribel?
yes, that's it.
Maribel?
Yeah,
Um,
Mer. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She lived in
She
the nursery with him.
the nursery, yeah, because she
Hmm.
didn't have one of the rooms.
Yeah.
And so that cousin, whoever it was, I can't remember his name, um, she gives him the Jaguar plush to like calm him down and be like, you're gonna be
Mm.
fine. And then she walks with him to the door, and his power has to do with animals, and specifically he gets like a jaguar like familiar. So it's like
Interesting.
there has to be something there related to that stuff.
Yeah, you know what I think it is?
Mm.
I think it's from a young age, when you were raised in a family, people pick out particular traits about you that they tend to notice at a young age, and they are something that you do have within you, but they become overemphasized because it's expected to be a quality about you that's viewed as useful or valid or important. You know, you almost grow into them. Like if you were a good runner at a young age, maybe you end up becoming, you know, a track star, so on and so forth. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think that that is kind of what was going on there with him. You know,
Hmm.
she gave him the animal plush, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm great with animals." You know, now this is more from like a less a literal watching of the film and more like allegorical, I guess you could say, perspective. That's where I think that maybe comes from.
Yeah. Sorry, hold on. I'm looking for a list of characters just so I can get like
The
the
names,
names, the
yeah.
names down. Uh, because I want to talk about one of them. Is it? It wouldn't be. Hold on. Oh, okay. The one that you were talking about earlier, the whiter looking one. Her name is Peppa.
Peppa, that's what it is. I wanted to say Papa, and I was like, that's definitely not it. Papa, Mamma Mia. Yeah, Peppa. Apparently, a lot of people on the internet do not like Peppa.
Why?
She's emotional, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of like her thing.
Yeah.
And that also is sort of that's also sort of like contributing to uh like what you were saying about how it's like characteristics about them. She's emotionally turbulent,
Mm.
and so her power has something to do with the weather, which can also be very turbulent and unpredictable.
Yeah. She also has very strong emotions. It's almost like a force of nature. You know
Yeah.
how powerful they are. Yeah. No, definitely.
Uh,
What was the grandmother's power? Did they ever say?
I don't think had one.
Hmm. Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. I found out what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Um, so this I don't know. I haven't really seen. Um, I haven't really seen any like talk about this per se.
Hmm.
Um, though I'm sure other people have probably come to the same conclusion. So when I was watching the movie, and like the character Dolores,
Yeah.
that's Peppa's daughter. Um,
Which one is that? Is that the
she's the one.
lights?
Yeah, she's the one who can like hear like really
Oh
really well.
yes, yes.
So my thing with her, and I think that also kind of goes into like the fact that the powers are just like qualities that are over exaggerated,
Mm.
sort of. Um, I get the vibe that she's supposed to be portraying somebody uh, on the autistic spectrum
Mm.
because of how sensitive she is to loud sounds. You can literally even see like when the fireworks are going off, she covers her ears.
Yes, yes, I remember that.
So so
Mm.
there was a couple things I saw in that I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
that would make sense." And that would also make sense as to why her power is she could hear really well and
Yeah.
remembers like everything about everything. She has like all these like weird little details of like things she heard.
Yeah, she
And
definitely does seem
it's like
neurodivergent in a way.
yeah, like I think that's what they were getting at. And I'm sure other people have come to that conclusion, but when I was watching the movie, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Because it's not
Mm.
like, "Oh, look, like here's somebody, they're different." It's like, "Wow." It's like, "No, they just here's somebody, they happen to
Yeah,
be a little
yeah,
different. That's just kind of who they are." It's like it's not like making a spectacle out of it, you know?
yeah. No, definitely. I can see that now that you mentioned it. Yeah.
It's just an observation.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. One thing I thought was really interesting was that people have commented that not all of Bruno's, I guess, visions have come true, but I don't think that's the case because the one that people talk about is the marriage proposal one, right? Like he
Yeah.
told me that the man in my dreams would be promised and someday be mine. He told me the man in my dreams would be just out of line; they wouldn't be able to get him. Uh,
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot, and I realized that he predicted it perfectly, actually, because it was correct that that who's the girl of the daughter of Peppa?
Dolores.
Yeah, he does talk about how Dolores will fall in love with a man who will be engaged to someone else because that does happen in the story, and he does mention the
Yeah.
fact that the other girl would be
Isabella.
yeah, Isabella would be promised to a man and would get married, but he doesn't say it is that man in question who we see throughout the film.
Exactly.
Yeah, so both those prophecies can be true, but it becomes twisted by our own interpretations of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
That's what I noticed. That's a lot of the prophecies. They end up becoming more turbulent, not because they're not true, but because we try to intervene too much and mold it into something it's not intended to be.
Well, that's and honestly, I think that that's pretty spot on too, because it's like
Hmm.
people always ask, like, this is like a bit of an abstract way to get at what I'm trying to say, but people ask the question, like, if you knew the day that you were gonna die or how you were gonna die, would you do anything different? And it's like, does doing anything different change that you know? It's like what would you do with the information? Like with somebody, if somebody had the ability, like Bruno, to tell you these things, it's like, what do you do with that information?
Mm,
Because it's
that's
like,
true.
are you gonna change it? What's gonna like what
Yeah,
degree of like sway do you have over what you've been told?
that's true. I would say ultimately you can't change it. If it's truly what's meant to be, it would just, every
Gonna
course of
happen.
action you would attempt to do would just further the results
Exactly. It was
that were
predestined
intended.
to happen.
Yeah.
Like the you're striving to try and make something not happen was secretly what was going to cause the thing to happen. Like
Mm, that's true. I think there's definitely a grain of truth in that, but I would see it as more that like there's a set of opportunities you have in life that are placed in front of you that are completely beyond your control, but you still have the capacity to make the choices. You know,
yeah,
I would say it's more of a real world scenario, but I think within the film it's definitely a little more stronger with the magical element of this is what will happen.
yeah,
But I guess the idea then is total complete trust. You know,
yeah, exactly.
I think the issue is people attempted to intervene too much, and we saw that with Maribel. when she saw that vision of the house destroying, she was like, no, that's not going to happen. I can stop that. But it happened, and it was a good thing. You know, the fact that the house needed to be destroyed was important because it needed to be rebuilt. It was built on a flawed foundation. A good foundation, but a flawed one, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
This film is very, very therapeutic in a way.
I really
appreciate it a lot.
felt good watching the movie.
Yeah. It definitely had a strong spiritual effect on me. I'm
Yeah,
very thankful I watched the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you thankful you've seen Smiling Friends?
Get out of my head, man! Get out of my head!
Get out of my head, man! Get out of my head!
Hey, man! Get out of my head, man!
No, man, you're trying to smoke up my you're trying to smoke up my brain, man.
Oh, dude, Smiley Friends is great. It's just like watching a Psycho Pebbles cartoon, but like extended.
I'm so glad that he finally got
A break.
something.
Yeah.
Like he finally got like, cause I'm sure I mean you know you were a child in the 2000s. You know of Hellbenders.
Of course.
And so that was him and Zach Hadel, aka
Yes.
Psychic Pebbles, and Chris O'Neill, or Oni Plays. They both were the ones who worked on that together, and they tried to pitch it to Adult Swim, from my understanding. And I think it got through to a point, but then kind of got put into like a purgatory where like it wasn't going to get put out, and they owned the rights, so it's like they just weren't doing anything with it, and I don't think they could make any more Hellbenders on YouTube. So it's good to see that. Well, yeah, that did suck, but it's good to see that like finally they got something to go, and Adult Swim seems to really have realized like, oh, this does, when people have a following online and we give them the platform to like make a product,
Yeah.
it brings in a lot of attention, because Smiling Friends has been blowing up Adult Swim recently.
It's good for them. I mean, I don't know how it's been for Adult Swim recently, but I've watched maybe like 1 or 2 days of Adult Swim, and I've noticed that there's definitely been like a rot a little bit with original programming.
No, definitely. 'Cause
They had some
don't
good
have,
things, but not much.
Yeah, they don't have anything that's like really
Defining.
that good. Like it really just, it's a lot of. And don't get me wrong, like there's the place for this on Adult Swim, but it's a lot of like Family Guy reruns, American Dad.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, I like those shows, like isolated as they are, like just like here and there, but like you don't need to, like sometimes they would just have too much of that, or it'll be like they don't really have anything else to put on of any substance, so they just fill it with random whatever. But this Smiling Friends, even though the episodes are only 11 minutes without commercials, they just the level of interest I think that it's generated should sort of show, because I think the people at Adult Swim definitely know this, but like this should show like the big wigs who live by the numbers. This should show them that like this is what they should be doing.
Yeah. Honestly. No, that's a good point. I agree. Because I've been thinking, there have been examples of good shows on Adult Swim, but a lot of them recently have been derivatives of something else. Like
Yeah.
Samurai Jack, I think, was one really good show that was relatively recent on Adult Swim, and that was good, but it was a byproduct of another show from the early 2000s. And then they had Mike Tyson's Mysteries, but that was a byproduct of something else.
That's a great show, though. I love that show.
Mysteries. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's great. I don't think they do it anymore, but I remember enjoying it a lot. They also had Uzumaki for Toonami, which I would include under the moniker of Adult Swim. But that was derivative of a manga, you know? Like, this is the first time in a while that they've had a completely original product, I feel. That was, like, consistently good. They had Black Dynamite, but that was a byproduct of a black exploitation film from way back in the day. But I feel like a lot of the really good stuff was a byproduct of something else until this.
Yeah, exactly.
They should keep doing it. And like, there's so many good animators that if they just had the budget and the time slot and the kind of resources and community that Adult Swim has, they would do so well. You know?
Agree. There's, excuse me. Um, I agree. There definitely needs to be like, okay, obviously I'm not saying every Joe Schmo who animates on the internet
An
needs some
Adult Swim show
screen.
right now.
Yeah, but like
Right now.
there's clearly like an upper crust, we'll say, of like the animators on YouTube that I think really should be given like they should really be given like a comb through by like Adult Swim, and some of them given like a shake at making a
Yeah.
show. I'm sure there would be some good ones. Like, uh, I don't know if he's interested because I know he said he was taking a bit of a hiatus from his animations, but somebody who I think would fit perfectly in on Adult Swim, Meat Canyon.
Oh gosh. I was gonna
Like,
say that as a joke.
no, but actually,
Okay.
like, he literally, like, unironically, Meat Canyon could definitely be like his just sense of like humor being so like absurd and
Morbid.
also like yeah, it's like morbid, absurd, but also like really funny
Yeah.
for just like what it is. That fits in with like the past 12 a.m.
Yeah.
type of like programming on Adult Swim.
Yeah. Like the I shouldn't be watching this, I should probably be praying kind of
Yeah,
things.
I shouldn't be watching this, but I cannot look
I
away.
cannot look away. It's like staring into the Ark of the Covenant. You just get aged. That's what I feel after watching Meat Cannon for so long. Like his video would come out, and then Dyslexic Ape and I would watch it during like we had like a study hall sort of class called Fourth Block, and is it called Fourth Block?
Fifth block, but
Fifth
yeah.
Block. Yeah, like we would watch Meat Canyon videos, and afterwards, I'm like, wow, I need to cleanse my soul.
It's like
Like,
I feel like I've been violated, but like I also kind of like it.
yeah, no one ever studied, but Meat
No,
Canyon was a study into the human soul and
exactly,
psyche.
exactly.
I don't know, because the thing is, he would be good for like bumpers maybe, or like small
Yeah.
segments. Like I could not see I could not watch 22 minutes of Meat Cannon.
Well, did you see,
Canyon.
he made a show?
Did he?
Yeah, on
I,
YouTube.
I'm
I forget what
shocked.
it's called. I forget what it's called. Um,
I'm shocked.
I watched it too. I watched like the
Did
full
you
thing.
like it?
It was okay. It
Yeah.
I don't know. It definitely could use some work, but like if he if he had like writers with him, but was still allowed to have like the creative freedom to kind of just like interject like what he wants. Like that's what it would need, and I'm sure that's how that goes for most of like the YouTube animators, and I'm sure that's kind of I don't know what the full process was like for Smiling Friends, but I know like there's you as long as you get like some level of like there'd have to be some level of like like the corporate entities kind of like touching it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what I appreciate about Smiley Friends is the fact that they're finally giving these animators and the internet a fair shake. And that's something that just needs to happen more often. And I think with the growth of this ideas, and I'm going to link in the description below this video by an animator who worked in the industry called Ethan Becker. But he talks about these things called FIPs. And basically, what FIPs are is here, let me grab the actual definition of what an FIP is real quick.
This is gonna be like GIF versus GIF. Is it gonna be like FIP or FIP?
Yeah, FIPs.
Hey yo, you guys buying
Hey.
into those FIPs?
Buying in those FIPs. Hey, oh, hey, give me a FIP right here. Hey, yeah.
Like
So it's
NFTs?
yeah, like NFTs. It is an intellectual property into fractional shares. So basically, it's stonks, but for animation. So the idea is you have an independent creator. Let's just use, I don't know, Meat Canyon, for example. Let's say he has a really great idea for an animated show. And instead of doing a Kickstarter where you're like, hey guys, buy my product. It may never come out, but spend all your money to get it. And then you put all your money in and then you get nothing. Like Oaxis with, what's his name? Butch Hartman. This is a little different. This is more like I have a show idea, and then that show becomes the idea or the concept becomes semi-public, and then you can, I guess, buy shares of it, sort of like stocks, and then that can play how big of a role you have in like the byproduct of this show. Like you may get a say depending on how many shares you have in it as to what happens with the course of the show. And then once it starts releasing, you can buy the stocks, which represent the value of the show, like economically, so to speak. So there's an actual incentive to finish and make a good product on the creator's end. You know? And I think that that's a great concept because it takes the one major flaw with Kickstarters and even to a certain extent with Patreons and sort of fixes it, where you can promise the world and never deliver. But what's cool about this concept is you have to promise the world and deliver and work with people throughout the project. And I think that this is great because with Adult Swim, like that, it's a good idea to definitely have a network come in and get involved and offer money to someone who's making a good product. But this completely gets rid of that middleman, that middle management that would ruin it.
This is like the most libertarian way to go about animations. It's like zero government involvement. Just like let the market be.
Yeah, the anarcho-capitalist animation industry.
I think that's how it should be though, because honestly, you and I had this conversation a little while ago when you first brought up the topic of the FIPs to me. I think that this is a really good idea because it's going to again, like I said, kind of with Smiling Friends, how the people at the top, the only thing they understand is numbers. So if they see something like this gaining numbers, that's a sign that like, hey, if this is successful, we need to compete with this. We need to start making things a better product in and of themselves. So it's going to create less of a monopoly in the industry and kind of hopefully put the industry on notice, the animation industry on notice, and kind of be like, hey, you need to step it up or you're going to get overtaken by non-traditional media, which is already happening. But it's going to sort of
increase,
escalate the situation.
It's kind of putting the thumb down on this issue. And I think we saw that with Netflix a little bit because there's been some decent stuff coming out of Netflix too.
Yeah.
Like, I think Klaus was really good. I think a lot of the independent films on Netflix are really good because they have a platform of people who are more willing to take risks with that totally digital medium. But I think this will make it even better. They'll put even more pressure on the situation and really help diversify the animation industry.
Yeah.
The one thing I am worried about is what platform is this going to be hosted on and what are the terms of service? It's the only thing I can think that could worry me.
That is a good question. Is there any information on that out yet, or?
I've not read it through the entirety of the site, but it seems like look, Project City apparently. ProjectCity.tv seems to be the group that wants to do this. And I don't know anything about Project City, so I can't verify exactly as to what they are. I'm about to see. Okay, so it seems like the only thing they do is this. This is the only thing they do. Is animation, and they teach animation. And it seems like it's owned by independent animators that worked for Disney at one point in time, or worked within the industry and then left for whatever reason. Okay. So, yeah, that seems fine by me. I don't see anything too malicious. They also have independent animation classes. So if people want to go to ProjectCity.tv, like they have classes on how to animate. They even have projects that users are working on. And what's cool is you can see their progress because they'll link to stuff like their TikToks, their Instagrams. So it's very very open in how they approach this. I like it.
Cool. We should link that.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. But yeah, it's everything. They even teach you how to animate, how to draw, the basics of drawing. Podcasts they would recommend. Like it seems very open. They post all the information of all their artists who work on it and their social media. I'm really excited for this. I hope that it becomes big.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to say on the subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much said my 2 cents.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so I think things are looking up in the animation industry. I think we were in a little bit of a rut in the 2010s, but I think we're starting to come out of that. I think the growth of social media and the internet has led to a lot of interesting projects. I think that we're seeing with the pros and cons of globalization, I think we're seeing a diversity of locations and films, and there's an attempt to bring in aspects of culture without like hitting you over the head with it, which I felt was really common in the 2000s. But I think that's because everything was just so Americanized. But I'm really excited to see this intertwining of social media and independent artists and them becoming more mainstream in the animation industry. I hope this doesn't have the YouTube effect where every YouTuber gets, a show and it's all horrible and corporately produced. But I think people are starting to learn from that era, the pros and cons.
I agree. If done properly, if all goes according to plan, right?
Yeah.
Like I wish we had. Speaking about a Bruno, I wish we had like Bruno right now who could tell us like how this was all going to play out. But if all goes if all goes according to plan, I think that things are looking very positive for the future of animation, and I feel like it's healing. It had its wound that got infected by Chicken Little, and it is now healing.
Yes. Who is a better chicken? The chicken from Chicken Little or the Chicken Man from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Actually,
There's only one right answer.
No, I'm actually going to go with none of those. I'm going to go with, I think that the Chopsaki Chooks were probably the best chickens.
No. You're bought out by China. Plus 1,000 social credit. No. The only right answer is the cool dude chicken from Surf's Up.
Oh,
You
how could I
fool.
be so blind?
You fool.
How could I forget about KFC?
KFC, yes. I guess that's it. I don't have anything else to say.
That's the show. Leave.
That's the show. Now leave. Yeah. Santi Umami out.
Dyslexic Gape. I'll see ya.